Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and today for you I have the latest episode of Titans titled Asylum. We start this episode out basically with a guy slits his own throat and Raven heals him. This episode is going to be a personal one because we find out that Raven's real mother is actually alive, so I feel like that kind of set the tone for this episode that it was going to be personal. Automatically, after finding out Raven's mom is alive, she wants to go rush in and save her, but Dick, being the son of Batman, basically says, that's stupid, we need to come up with a plan, and then we can go. And everyone else agrees with Dick. We later find out in the next scene that Beast Boy was lying. He comes up with the excuse he kind of just wants to blend in, so that's why he agreed with Dick, but after that he comes to say, let's go anyway, so they take an Uber, and apparently they use Starfire's Uber account. Raven and Beast Boy get caught immediately. Meanwhile, Starfire and Dick have diverged the plan and have executed it and are now inside the building. So if Raven would have just waited like an hour, they would have had a plan to go in instead of getting caught. And Raven and Beast Boy didn't even make it into the building, but at least Dick and Starfire make it into the basement. They all get subdued and they're all subjected to their own type of torture. Starfire gets like surgery on her because she can regenerate and heal. So they keep doing torturous things to her. Beast Boy, they want him to transform so they can see what he can do. And he gets electrocuted, and they give Dick some kind of psychiatric or psychotic drugs, and he goes on this just mind trip. One thing I really liked in this episode was that when they gave Dick these drugs, he has these like hallucinations, and they're all very personal and philosophical, and they involve his younger self. And I don't want to ruin it because this is actually a pretty good episode if for people who haven't seen it. But just having that really, it shows you that he's gone through quite a personal journey. And even though we don't know the extent of these, hallucinations, we can just tell that, at this point, he has to move on from Robin. So I'm hoping that means Nightwing. I mean, he could do his own thing with no identity for a while, but I don't know. I don't think they're gonna put Nightwing in that fast at this point. In a later scene, Raven undoes the throat slit that she healed the guy, and it was actually just an awesome scene because it was good CGI, and it was funny to think, that she healed this guy earlier in the episode and saved his life, but now she can take it away, and he's just gonna sit there and die. It was a really cool episode, and it really showed me that this show is not afraid to go where it needs to go with like the blood and the violence, and I love that. A little bit after that, Raven finds her real mom that we have only just recently found out has existed, and that's the whole reason why we're here at this asylum. Another thing I really noticed at this point in the show, the score for every episode has just been amazing. I mean, it seems like they were plucking these like from movies. Like you could just put these characters in movies with these scores, and you would have a big blockbuster movie. I really enjoy this music, and I'm not sure who does it, but I'm gonna have to find out. Beast Boy, after Raven rescues him, saves her and her mom, and he kills his first guy in this episode as his tiger. And you could tell this is going to be a point where Beast Boy is going to emotionally be messed up, because to this point he hasn't killed, let alone bit anybody, and he just basically mauled a guy to death, and it was a pretty terrible and gruesome death. Then we get to Dick, who seems like his mind has just been melted by these drugs that he has been taking, and he's just like completely emotionally and mentally broken, which a second later he's like, nah, I'm good, because it's Dick Grayson, and you could see earlier in the episode that, like, even when they gave him the drugs, he was resisting them. So you could only imagine he's not going to emotionally be broken forever. He just needs a minute. Starfire, from what we could tell, ends up fine. I think she just may end up with like some kind of emotional or mental problems, just because, I mean, she was freaking like operated on about being conscious just so they could experiment on her healing. I mean, that's a pretty torturous thing. While they're trying to escape this asylum, Dick takes on, I think I counted about like 10 to 12 guys head on with a pipe, and he beats the shit out of all of them. He does get, hurt a little bit, but that's what I really liked. Is I feel like he was a little more vulnerable as Robin, because when he gets like electrocuted and hit in this scene, he just bounces right back. Like, he can't afford to be hurt. There's no time to be hurt, and he's not wearing a Robin costume. He's just being Dick at this point, which I thought was pretty interesting for the furtherment of the story. Starfire and Robin basically come up with a plan to blow up this asylum that they just went through all these rigorous tests and delusions and torment. It was good to see them kind of burn it down, just because it's symbolic. One of the very last scenes of this episode, we see that after this explosion, Dick is burning his Robin costume. Personally, I think he probably had it in the car with him when they went to go rescue Raven. He just didn't want to storm in there as Robin, so I feel like he probably just burned it had it with him. But in the scene when he's burning it, he's got tears in his eyes, and I feel like he realized that this is the end of his Robin, that, everything he kind of stood for ended at this point. Like, the fight that they just went through and the stuff that he mentally just went through, he feels like it's time he can finally give up Robin. But you can just tell that he emotionally, he's going to need to be somebody else besides Robin, and I think that's what they're hinting at. I just don't know if they're going to put Nightwing in there right away real quick like that, but we're heading into episode 8, and there's only 11 episodes in this show. So I feel like these last, couple episodes are probably going to get really intense. There's probably going to be a lot to them. I can't wait to see next week's, because we're going to get introduced to Donna Troy. Let me know if you've seen this episode. Leave your comments, like, subscribe. Thanks for coming to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.